Hello student, this is Pallab Darbari, your host, and you are watching Pallab Darbari classes. In this video, we will discuss Chapter 7 of Business Studies Class 12th, Directing. This is the first volume of the chapter. Let us see the topic that we will discuss in this video. In this video, we will discuss directing, we will discuss supervision, and we will discuss span of management. Let us start the class with the definition of the directing. Directing is the process of instructing, motivating, guiding, and leading people to work to the best of their capabilities in order to achieve the predetermined goals and objectives. So in a very simple word, we can say directing is the process of instructing, motivating, guiding, and leading the people to work so that the goal which is being set for the organization should be attained. Let us see the features of directing. Directing initiates action. This is the only function of the management where the plans is being turned to reality. Directing is a continuous process. As long as the business survives, as long as the entrepreneur decide to continue the business, the supervisor has to or the superior has to motivate, instruct the subordinates so that the work should be done. The superior is continuously monitoring, motivating the subordinates, so it is a continuous process. It is downward flow. Why it is downward flow? Because the instructions is being given by the superior to the subordinate, so the direction moves from upward to downward, so it is downward slope. Next is pervasive. Directing is pervasive. It is being found in every level of the management, whether it is the top level management, middle level management, or lower level management. Wherever we are having the superior, wherever we are having the subordinate, the instruction might be given by the superior to the subordinate, so the directing is pervasive. Let us discuss all the features in detail. The first is initiate action. Directing initiate the actual action or the work in the organization, while the other functions of the management, that is planning, organizing, and staffing, they set the base for the work in the organization. It is the directing that actually initiates the work. In the picture we can see planning, organizing, staffing, these are the ingredients, and the directing is a cook who make use of the ingredients and prepare the dish. So we can see over here that directing is the function which turns the paperwork into reality. Let us see the next feature. The next feature is continuous process. It is a continuous process and flows throughout the life of an organization. Why? Because a manager must not only issue instructions but continuously supervise and motivate the subordinates so that the tasks are carried out without interruption. Next feature is downward flow. This function flows downward, that is from top to bottom. It begins from top executive of a firm and flows down along the organizational hierarchy. The question is, who gives the orders? Subordinate give the order or the superior give the order? The answer is superior gives the order. Since the superior give the order to the subordinate, so subordinate is downward flow. Next feature is pervasive. Directing takes place wherever there exists a superior subordinate relationship. Thus, it is performed at every level of management, top level, middle level, or lower level. Wherever we are having the subordinate, wherever we are having a superior, the directing is going on. Let us see the importance of directing. Directing achieves the objectives. Because of directing, the employee is put to action, and because of this the objective which is being decided should be attained. The next importance is integration of efforts. Because of instruction, because of directing, all the efforts of the employees are integrated, joined together. Next is employee development. Because of instruction, because of motivation, leadership, supervision, the skills of the employees get sharpened. The next is it facilitates changes. Because of directing, because of motivation, all the employees adopt the changes without if and but. Next is stability. Because of directing, the objectives of the organization should be attained without interruption. There is a stability. The employees of the organization never quit the organization. There is a minimum labor turnover ratio, so the stability will be found wherever we are having directing. Let us discuss all the importance in detail. The first is it is through directing. Let us discuss the importance of directing. The first importance of directing is achieving objectives. The function of directing initiates the actual action in an organization. An individual cannot start working without proper instructions and directions. Directing helps individual to complete the assigned task properly and on time. In addition, directing in the form of supervision and motivation helps the employees to achieve their targets more efficiently. Let us see the next importance. The next importance is integration of efforts. Every organization comprises of a number of employees who have different jobs assigned to them and work at different level. It is only through directing that their individual efforts are integrated and channelized towards the common organizational goals. Let us see the next importance, that is employees development. Proper directing guides employees in the right direction. Elements of directing such as motivation and leadership encourage the employees to work in the best of their capabilities. Next importance is facilitate changes. It is the human behavior that resists changes. Employees must raise their adaptability with the changing environment. It helps in individual growth. Effective directing through proper motivation and communication helps in reducing the resistance of employees toward the changes that take place in the working environment. This is the transition process for the organization. The next importance is stability. Stability is crucial for long-term business survival. Every organization comprises different individuals with different behavioral pattern and attitudes. At times, this may result in clash or conflicts between the individual goals and organizational goals, or even between the goals of two different individuals. Proper directing helps in not only maintaining stability but also avoids such conflicts. Let us discuss the elements of directing. Listen, in the directing we are having 4 elements. The first element is communication. Second is supervision. Third, motivation. And fourth, leadership. Let us discuss the first element, that is supervision. Supervision is the process of guiding and instructing the subordinates towards the achievement of desired goal and objectives of the organization. So what is supervision? The process of guiding and instructing the subordinates so that the desired goal should be attained. A supervisor is a person who lies immediately above the worker in the organization hierarchy and directly oversees the activities of the subordinates. Let us see the role of the supervisor. He acts as a link between the manager and the worker. Second is, a supervisor helps in maintaining harmony and unity among the employees. Supervisor solve all the conflicts among the employees, because of which harmony and the unity exist or prevail in the organization. The first one is supervisor act as a important linkage, or he is a mediator between the manager and the worker. Whatever the problems the worker is having, the supervisor intimate that information to the manager so that the proper solution should be given to the workers. Whatever the manager wants, that information should be also be delivered by the supervisor to the workers, so that the communication gap should not be there and every worker should do the work according to the instructions given by the managers. The next is the supervisor solve the conflicts among the employees, because of which harmony and the unity prevails in the organization. The third role is he ensures the proper personal working efficiency. He is the person who monitors and see whether the workers are doing the work properly or not. If he sees that the workers are not doing the work properly, he guide him so that the wastage gets minimized and the work can be done efficiently without wastage. The next one is he provide the required knowledge and the skill. If in the work he sees that the knowledge and the skill is missing, he provide the knowledge, he provide the skills through the channels like arranging training, so that the worker should get the skill and should acquire the knowledge so that he can execute the work properly. Next, he act as a friend and guide. He is always having the guardian relationship with the workers so that the workers can openly tell all the problems. He properly analyze the performance of the employees and provide them with regular feedbacks and suggestions. Let us see the role of the supervisor in detail. A supervisor acts as a link between the manager and the workers. It is through the supervisor that the manager communicates the ideas and the policies to the workers, and the workers communicate their problems and grievances to the management. The second role is he is in direct contact with the employees and thereby guides and support them. In this way, he helps in maintaining harmony and unity among the employees. Next is he ensures that the personnel work efficiently as per the set target. Next is he provides the required knowledge and skills to workers. The next is a supervisor is continuously in touch with the employees and thereby act as a friend and guide, mentor to the workers. A supervisor is endowed with the required leadership skill that helps in boosting the morale of the employees and instill a feeling of belongingness in them towards the organization. A supervisor properly analyzes the performance of the employees and provide them with regular feedbacks and suggestions. This helps in further improving their efficiency and capabilities. Let us discuss the span of management. Span of management means the number of subordinates reporting to the manager is called span of management. What is span of management? Span of management means the number of subordinates that a manager can handle at a time. Let us see the factors which determine the size of the span of management. The first factor that determines the size of the span of management is competency of the supervisor. Greater is the competency of the supervisor in terms of his leadership skill, communication skill, decision making ability, self-confidence, etc. Wider is the span of supervision, that is, more number of workers, more number of employees can be handled by him at a time. Next is availability of the time. Lesser the time available for the supervisor, narrow is the span of supervision and vice versa. In a small time period, less number of workers or the employees can be instructed. So if the time period is large, the span of management might be wider, otherwise narrow. The next is nature of work. In case the task to be performed is complex of where the demonstration should be shown, then the span of management should be narrow, because at a time a small number of the people should be in front of a smaller number of the people, the performance can be given or the demonstration will be shown, demonstration should be given. If the work is very simple in nature, then the span of management might be wider, and if the work is complex, it means that the demonstration should be given, then the span of management should be narrow. Next is control system used. If the control system used in the organization is such that deviation in performance are easily detected, then the requirement of a close and constant supervision is obviated. This implies that the performance of a large subordinates can be supervised simultaneously, otherwise the span of management might be narrow. The next point is capacity of the subordinates. In case the subordinates are competent and efficient, then a close supervision of their work is not required. In this case, supervision has a wide span. The next is extent of decentralization. Higher the extent of decentralization followed in the organization, wider is the span of supervision and vice versa. That's all I have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all.